Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest edition of our entertainment show, where we look at upcoming TV series and movies debuting in here in Ireland this upcoming month. And one of the movies up for discussion this week is called Aftermath. It's about a young couple who move into a house and move into a neighborhood, and everything sort of seems to a loving sort of young sort of couple in the early part of their life, and everything seems to go wrong from the moment that they acquire this house. And it seems like, well, there's a bit of mystery and intrigue whether the house is haunted or whether there's perpetrators at work making it look like the house is a ghastly sort of grimaces like something from the Addams Family. But I'm delighted to be joined by one of the stars of the show this evening to talk about his role in the movie, Sharif Atkins. He plays Officer Richardson in the movie, and prominent cast members on the movie as well are Sean Ashmore, who play Kevin Deutsch, and Ashley Green, who plays Natalia Deutsch, and Otto then is played by Jason Lyles, and we have Britt Barron, who plays Danny. But Sharif, if I can come to you first, there's always seems to be good sort of horror movies out and about in terms of haunted houses. But I watched the trailer of Aftermath, and you get to the suspicion that this is not everything what it seems to be in terms of a paranormal type sort of story.
Yeah. No, they, the Winter Brothers, this is a different type of horror thriller, right? We're not going necessarily paranormal, or are we? I don't know. I don't want to give away too much. But I remember talking to Peter, and he talks about how it's a horror thriller, but he used the word elevated. So there's some symbolism and some themes that they thought that they'd work with in the telling of this story, and some of the jumps and the scares and the thrills sort of like help to augment those themes. So.
And I suppose, Sharif, in terms of the main couple involved, it puts their relationship to the strain of the collar, and almost puts it on the point of no coming back in terms of this couple. They're at their sort of wit's end. It almost becomes the nightmare from 34 Elm Street in terms of the sort of scenario living in this house. It almost feels like everything good that's brought them together. This since they move into the property, everything is trying to, Mother Nature and gravity and everything around them is trying to rip them apart from their souls, their eternity, their wits end in terms of how to get up in the morning and how to go through life.
Yeah, is that saying everything shiny ain't good for you, right?
Yeah.
But they, with all good intentions, they embark upon this new chapter in their life, this new phase, and they find there a couple of bumps in the road along the way, and it's a fun thing. One of the themes that I really enjoyed in terms of watching it, when I watched it over here in the States, even after reading it, but watching you get a better idea, is this idea that, and I suppose it's a theme in a lot of thrillers where you have the protagonists, you have them trying to tell everyone this is what's happening, and nobody is believing them, right? This idea that when all of the circumstantial evidence points in a different direction, what are you left with, right? And so it's just it's really interesting. It's really interesting, but it's fun too. I'm hammering on the themes, but it's fun. Got some humorous moments in it and whatnot.
And Sharif, you play Officer Richardson, and I suppose your first encounter with this couple is in terms of their sort of misgivings when they start to come to life in terms of what's going on. So your sort of initial reaction, I suppose, not to give too much away, but is it almost feel like that sort of this couple, well, they're just imaginary things, this is sort of stress, maybe their work sort of life, and just a sort of taking it out as well. This is just probably one of the normal couples that are probably a bit of marital sort of difficulty, maybe a bit of stress is getting to them and that sort of scenario? Or when does Officer Richardson begin to believe that there's a bit more going on that meets the eye?
Yeah, well, without giving too much away, my first encounter with the couple is they're actually coming in as the victims of something that happens. Again, I won't give it away, let you guys watch it and enjoy it for yourselves. And so I first encountered them as, you know, they're wanting my help. But there are a couple of elements around this particular situation that give me pause and begins to make me raise my eyebrow about the veracity of what they're actually telling me and sharing with me. And so the bit as it concerns the home then is yet another layer that comes a little bit down the road, right? And so, you know, it's my, you know, for my character's journey, here I am having encountered this couple, you know, under, I think the word is auspicious, you know, terms, and then moving to they're being the ones that, you know, they're finally going to complain. They're afraid. They're worried about, you know, what's going down. It's a weird thing trying to talk about it without talking about it. Yeah. Jim, you can imagine, man. You can imagine. But I'm trying to talk about it without giving it away. It captures
your intrigue. Their story from the start captures your intrigue. It raises question marks where you started, I need to investigate this a tiny bit more.
Yeah, if I were to map out my level of intrigue with this couple, or the level of believability that I have with them, it's like a stock market. It just goes up and down to the point in which essentially we get to the end and we find out the truth, right? Like I want to, as an officer, I want to take their complaint and their concerns seriously, but there are a lot of really shady things that we're discovering that I'm wondering, okay, there's got to be, you know, a couple of different levels of things going on here, right? Yeah. And I think Sean and Ashley do a great job, you know, in you know, playing that couple with they're not seeing eye to eye, you know, they're not seeing eye to eye.
And I suppose, Sharif, it's actually coincidental that the week that it sort of debuts, it's a great week here in Ireland in terms of horror movies, because Candyman is sort of debuting as well this week in terms of movies as well. So it's almost like autumn has become the new Halloween in terms of for sort of stories of that intrigue and sort of suspense. And I suppose when people like to watch a good sort of horror intrigue sort of story, it's sort of when there's one, they sort of feed off the sort of another as well. So obviously with Candyman out, the aftermath will probably get a bounce off of that as well, because people will be wanting something sort of similar in terms of the savor, another sort of experience like that.
Well, listen, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Candyman. You know, I remember the original way back in the day, but yeah. I mean, listen, it's a really solid horror flick. You know what I mean? And everyone likes the thrill of being scared. It's always a lot more enjoyable when it's just not. How do I say? It's just not. You know, back in the day when there was Friday the 13th, right? You know, and there's the slasher, right? Well, it wasn't really anything really necessarily smart about it. It just scared the bejesus out of you, right? Yeah. And so it's always cool when you combine, you know, sort of this thriller aspect where it kind of takes you on a ride and you don't know what's up and what's down. And you get a few scares out of it at the same time, you know? So yeah. Is Candyman playing in the theaters there?
It's coming out this Friday here as well. So the actual two movies are coming out at the similar time. Yes.
So there you go. You could tell your audience, go check out Candyman in the theater and come on home and get scared again and watch Aftermath. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Sharif, in terms of aftermath, in terms of the production, well, was it a sort of what I'd say an 8 week sort of shoot? Was it more than two to 3 months? And was it affected by COVID in any way, or did you have a clean sort of shoot through?
Yeah, no, that was if I remember the time frame, at least my portion of it, we got it in before that hit. And so yeah, no, honestly, I don't recall exactly how long the production shot. I just know my portion of it. And when you come onto a set, Peter Winther is one of those directors that he hires people that he believes are capable of getting the job done. And so then when you get on set, it's about tweaking and kind of like shifting the rudder here or there, right? Moving them in the direction that he wants to tell the story the best he can. And so, yeah, we just kind of got in there, did it, on an indie film. It's not a whole lot of time to just muck about. So you got to just kind of get in there, do your part, and hope it comes out well.
And Sharif, I was just doing a bit of research on the movie, and I suppose there's theories that it comes out, it's based on a true sort of story on a couple, Jerry Rice and Janice Rupter, in terms of their experiences in terms of a lady, a stalker who was outbidded for the house, Katie Rowe, in terms of what went on there, and there's sort of other sort of stories and elements. And so I suppose it's taking bits and sort of pieces, but there are certain elements that we all know in society where you can sort of base stories around this in terms of what sort of goes on as well.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things that, what's the saying? You wouldn't believe it if it wasn't true, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's kind of based on something similar that happened. But, when you watch this story, as it unfolds, you might be like, really? But then when you know the truth about that, no, actually something very similar occurred, then you just buy into it even more, right?
And Sharif, is it a busy time for you? Have you anything in terms of the pipeline coming up in terms of TV series, movies that will be heading our way to maybe in the winter here in Ireland and the UK, or maybe the early spring next year? Have you much in the pipeline? Is it a busy time for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. I mean, the things are picking back up here, even as we sort of hopefully come towards the end of this pandemic. It's starting to pick back up, man. I'm doing do you know the NCIS series?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they have their new edition, the NCIS Hawaii.
Okay.
That I'm doing a bit of a recur on, and so that's always enjoyable, getting out to Oahu and doing some work there. And so yeah, right now that's really what I got that would be coming you all's way. However, if you happen, Jim, to be in the Chicagoland area, my friend, during the winter of next year, man, I'm going to be doing Gem of the Ocean by August Wilson at the Goodman Theater.
Okay,
and
wow.
I'm from Chicago,
Okay.
and so being able to do work at that theater, oh man, it's a kid's dreams come true. I've been out here in LA about 20 years, and before I left, I promised myself I'd work at all 4 of the major theaters in Chicago, and I got 3. Now I get to go back home and do the 4th.
So you're coming home, as the saying goes, Sharif. Sharif, have you ever been to Ireland? Is it on the bucket list for you, or have you any experiences of being in the Emerald Isle?
Jim, come on. Let me know where is the place to go. Listen, what I know about Ireland is I know that it's beautiful. That's what I've heard. That's what I've seen. But no, I haven't been. I've been to Paris, been to England. But I mean, a lot of Vienna. But yeah, I have not been to Ireland.
Definitely the west coast of Ireland. You'll see some sites, medieval castles, famous sort of cliffs, historic sort of west coast, all along the west coast of Ireland. Sharif, if you're ever the way, just start to check it out away from the big city of Dublin. You'll see some scenic and sort of stunning sort of views, and great Norman sort of Viking sort of history as well in terms of that, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna come out there and ring you up, brother, and be like, "Hey, Jim, where you at? You know, take me around, show me your country, brother."
And Sharif, finally, before I let you go, you might enlighten all our audience again in terms of, for the final 30 seconds. You play Officer Richardson. Why they should go out to cinema in the next week or two and tune in and watch Aftermath, and what's in store for them?
Oh, wow. Guys, get out, watch Aftermath. I know Candyman's coming out. I know you're going to run to the theaters to see Candyman, but trust me, you're going to enjoy Aftermath just as much. Make your popcorn, put your butter on it, cozy up with a nice little blanket, and enjoy yourself. Expect to shout out loud at least once, maybe twice. But it's fun. Nice horror thriller. Sean and Ashley do a great job in leading the cast, and you guys will love it.
On that note, Sharif Atkins, a pleasure talking to you this evening. In terms of giving your insights and thoughts of your portrayal of Officer Richardson in Aftermath, we look forward to seeing you in NCIS Miami as well in the near sort of future as well. Hawaii, NCIS Hawaii in the near future as well. Sharif, but for the moment, Sharif, take care, God bless, and hopefully we'll speak to you sometime soon again in the near future. Take care, Sharif Atkins.
Likewise, man. Take care, God bless, stay safe.
Cheers, Sharif. Take care, bud.